Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be carrying out a recap on something we've looked into before many months ago, but we are just going to be adding a bit more details. Now, we've looked into the issue of many of these groups in the Anioma area and also the Ikwerre people as connected to Judea. First of all, the point in history when many of these groups actually moved down to this part of the world from Israel is around 2000 years ago. These groups actually were expelled from Israel because they didn't leave. It wasn't like they left of their own volition or something. They were actually expelled from Israel. Now, how did this come about? This was due to the constant massacre of their people by the Roman Empire. These people who were actually refugees, you can call them refugees as of then, they were looking for that particular point where God is already existing. And so they sojourned through Northern Africa until they finally got to the location where God is now existing today. So the Judeans actually came here and were welcomed. It was like a new beginning. On the side, there's also a pointer. There's a suggestion that the people you know as most of the Western Igbos today were actually at a more northern direction. They were closer to where you know as Nsukka today. That is mostly about where you know as Western Igbo land. But it doesn't end there, because if you listen closely, I told you that Western Igbo land is also connected to the people you know as Ikwerre today. And when I mean similar, I'm not talking about the similar of having come out from one kingdom to the west. No, that is not it. It is similar in connecting back to Judea. Now, let's look into some details. Now, a lot about the Ikwerre people has been said on this particular channel. So now you have something among the Ikwerre people. You have a name. You see, names are important. Don't take names for a frivolity, especially if it's a cultural name, because it may likely have more information than you think. Now, you go among the Igbo people today, there is a very prominent name among the girls and women, and that name is Sarima. Sarima is the name you get among them a lot, So you look at this name and you do not realize that this name is actually connected to the origin and foundations of the Igbo people. Now, Sarima today will mean happiness, joy, and essentially a state of no worries. That is when you don't have any problems at all, so you are just Sarima or Sarema, whether rising or falling. Okay, so you research into that name and you find out that that name is actually the name Salema. That is actually the name Salema. That is the name of their major city. You see, when you investigate the histories of people, you will find out that people, when they migrate, they tend to carry the name of one major city, or the other to their new location. Okay, whether they bear it as the name of their people, like the name of the little girls or the little boys, or they take it and put as the name of their new location, they tend to carry that prominent city to a new location, and that is the name you hear as Sarima today. They prefer the R anyway, so anywhere there's an L, just know that the Ikwerre people are very likely going to put an R there. Okay, and so they bear Sarima. If you go into the history of the place known as Jerusalem today, you will discover that the name Jerusalem is only an English product. If you go into the history of that place, you will then discover that the name of the place is Uru Salim. Now, when I say Uru, any Igbo listener can immediately know what I'm talking about. Uru means settlement, it means place of and all that. We have Uru across Igbo land. You can't even count it, okay? So, Urusalem or Urusalim, a settlement where there is no problems. That is the meaning of that name. So you see the similitude and connection between the name Sarima and Salema. It's actually a Hebrew name they are giving to all the baby girls, okay, without they knowing. That is why I spoke about the falling off of the heritage. That's why you see people bearing a Hebrew name like Sarima or Sarema, and they do not know that it is Hebrew. They just like the name, so they keep giving it to all the baby girls. Now, quickly, we'll be looking into the evolution of the words day and day. Now, the word day, as we looked into it in the previous video, is where we brought out the word day. Day is actually my father. And also, a further evolution of that word is what brought out D. D is actually my Lord. Now, going into the word day, we didn't look into that word in the original video. Now, Deya is actually the female form of day. Now, that Deya, the evolution of that word in the Igbo language initially brought out the word known as dad. Now, it is the belief that this word was much more widely used before now, but it became lesser and lesser prominent until it became almost restricted to the Owerri area. However, that word, the evolution of that word did not stop there, because it is from that word, dada, that the Igbo people actually brought out ada. There are several words we've looked into. If you follow this channel closely, several words in the Igbo language that have undergone this evolution. We've discussed them in other videos, so you can check the other videos. Okay, so umuada, when you say umuada, is actually umudada at an earlier time. Today umuada. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. Stay blessed.